I want to talk about inflation. It's a hot topic, and obviously inflation means less purchasing power in traditional money or fiat money. So how does crypto provide an alternative, or does it provide an alternative to hedge against this inflationary period that we're dealing with? Julie, you want to go first?
Sure. It certainly does. And I think having alternative stores of value are really advantageous in mitigating the risk of devaluation of just traditional fiat currency. So that's absolutely an advantage of investment and use of cryptocurrency. Yeah.
Gabrielle, do you think about inflation the same way, that this may be an opportunity for crypto to actually fill a need?
I do. I think, as with everything, I'm going to go back to some of the governance components that Julie mentioned, because I think that crypto can be a potential diversifying tool only to the extent that it maintains sufficient governance. And whether that governance is baked in through smart contract, you can have certain crypto that, all of a sudden there's another like token allocation, and now we've like doubled the supply. And so, I mean, some of the issues that you have, even in the, we'll say like analog monetary system, okay, those things aren't necessarily, solely contained within the analog system. It can easily happen in any system, because it's again, it's not a function of whether something is or isn't digital, or is not technologically enhanced. The issue is around governance and decision making, and whether those decisions have been premeditated, set into you know um, action through smart contracts, so on and so forth, or if they are kind of very analog, human involvement on an ongoing basis. If they weren't designed properly, there will be challenges. And so I think that, when we talk about crypto specifically, because it embodies things like Bitcoin, but also stable coins, it includes, sort of this broader kind of umbrella, um, altcoins. I think we just have to be very mindful that that's a big catch all category. And so within that, we need to be very vigilant about ensuring that we read the white papers, understand, how these things function in practice, what the governance is around the supply of the token or coin, and then, how that functions in practice. And then that perhaps can give insight into. But all of this is, we're living through like a period in many cases of like a experimental period to see how this actually functions in practice, to what degree it decouples from and can be a hedge against inflation, and to what degree it begins to kind of correlate, and you see similar behavior. So this is all just to kind of say that I think there's still a lot to be seen. Obviously, different economists, different theorists have come out, on various sides, have maybe picked their favorites with regards to coins, how they were designed, how the governance has been designed, whether it's fully decentralized or it's not. All of these things play into that evaluation. And so I think it's one of these things where you kind of still have to like do your own research and really deep dive in, and then make a decision in many ways for yourself, like what you're comfortable with and what you believe, could or could not function in that capacity.
Just in speaking about coins themselves, and I know, Gabby, you run a pretty large trading platform. Would you say that Bitcoin, now having stood the test of time, at record highs, huge market cap, is now sort of the de facto face of all things crypto, and is sort of now the face of crypto?
I think it depends on who you talk to. I think there's a lot of people who, again, some of it is about, personal risk profiles. Some of it is about, people's affinity to a particular white paper or theory. I think it depends on the individual. It depends on how and in what way they're using crypto. And realistically a bit about sort of their own perspective. Again, some people hold crypto or trade crypto for a variety of different reasons, right? And so I think sometimes we maybe try to simplify it for the purpose of explaining it to people who are new to the space. We use Bitcoin as maybe a first example, as perhaps the most visible example that there is of what crypto is. But I think, it really does depend. It depends how DeFi oriented you are. It depends how, if you're really looking at the power of crypto or digital assets from a stablecoin perspective and like moving money in terms of remittances, speed, all of that comes into play. So I think it is today perhaps the most recognized, but I don't know if it may depend on who you talk to, whether they kind of go along with that idea that is the face of crypto. But that's just my kind of 2 cents.